Hello again. In this video, I'll try to describe how you actually form possessive forms. You make a possessive, you show possession in Greek. So, to start with, I'll start with some things that seem completely irrelevant. Using the base of what I had described in verbs, personal pronouns. I'm only writing these down for reference, you'll see. If you actually go further and do the declension of these personal pronouns, you end up through the accusative form with emena, esena, αυτόν, εμάς, εσάς, αυτούς. And I'll write some other corresponding forms. These are the so-called possessive pronouns. They are possessive pronouns, but they can also serve a different purpose. They have the same form, but you'll see. I'll explain. That's going to be near the end of the video. Mu, su, tu, mas, sas, tus. Okay, now you're going to need these in order to understand possession fully. And you're going to need this word as well, vikos. This word behaves like a noun. If I'm being honest, I do not really know what it technically is, but it behaves as a noun, and you're going to, behave to it as if it is a noun whenever you're using it, so it doesn't make that much of a difference. Now, vikos, if you treat it like a noun, or an adjective for that matter, it doesn't matter that much. An adjective is probably preferable, because you have 3 genders for it. This is the declension for 3 genders. This is null, right? Nothing. To Vikon. Now, you also have the plural forms. I, viki, ton, vikon, tus, vikos, viki, I, vikes, ton, vikon, tis, vikes, vikes, τα δικά, των δικών, τα δικά, δικά. Now, apparently I don't have enough space on this board, and it's pretty much obvious. But you need to pause this, I don't know, write it down, whatever you need. You're going to need to know these words. The only reason I have written these so that you know what corresponds to each person. Let's say this is first person, second, then plural and so on. These are the words you're going to need, and I'll explain how. I'll wipe this clean. Hopefully you get this part, because I'm standing in front of it. Now, you're going to need vikos in a lot of cases. And let's pick some random nouns. This is also vocabulary. The garden. Now that's a div. Okay. I glastra. Now, there's a lot of gardening going on. This is the flower pot. And το βιβλίο. The book. So, you have a book. That book is το βιβλίο μου, if you're talking about it. So, you have το βιβλίο. If you own it, it is το βιβλίο μου, if you're talking about it. if you give the book to somebody, then it's to βιβλίο του, his or her book. No, actually that's, instead of tu, there's also tis, okay, because of gender. Το βιβλίο της. This pretty much remains the same, and you just change the possessive pronoun each time. Το βιβλίο μου, σου, του, or tis, μας, σας, τους. Now, this in all cases means the book, just one book. You're not changing the object that belongs to somebody, you're only changing who it belongs to. So it's my book, your book, his book, her book, our book, your book, plural, and their book, plural. So if you want to change the form and say that instead of one book, it's a lot of books, τα βιβλία, that's τα βιβλία μου, σου, του. It's the same thing all over again. Μας, σας, τους. This pretty much sums it up. This is a simple way of showing possession. Now, this word is actually used to form what we call strong form or strong possession. It doesn't matter as much if you're just looking to learn and understand how it just works. You're not going to, delve deep into it linguistically. So, instead of το βιβλίο μου, this pretty much, if translated word by word, is like the book of mine. If you want to say, you can also state it in another way, which is το δικό μου βιβλίο. Now, this is where δικό comes in play. And δικό is a word that must match the gender and number of the noun you're describing. Now, only the noun that you're describing, not the people owning it. So it's like το δικό μας βιβλίο. This is neuter, and this is also neuter, and it's going to stay that way as long as the only thing you change is who owns it. But if you change the number again, and you go for τα βιβλία μας, this becomes τα δικά μας βιβλία, which means our books, for that matter. It's the same thing. But what I'm trying to say is that as long as you only change who owns these things, the only thing that's going to end up changing, well, nothing's going to change. If you only change the people that own these things, the nouns will stay the same. This is also neuter. They match in number, they match in gender, that's all. And the same thing goes if you change and for the other words as well. That's why I actually use these, because they have to do with δικός, not this form as much. Ο κήπος μου, my garden. Η γλάστρα μου, my flower pot. And that makes no difference. But if you try to use the strong form, which includes δικός, then you end up with ο δικός μου κήπος, which, if you don't even care about this part, this is masculine, and the noun is also masculine, so they still match. This, you can still change all these without altering anything else. Of course, it's going to mean something different, like my garden, your garden, his garden, her garden, our garden, and so on. But you could use both forms. It makes no difference. The only reason I'm stating this is, well, if you want to emphasize something that's like, it is my garden, you're probably going to try to use this form. But pretty much it makes no difference. So you only need to be able to recognize both. So that pretty much concludes possession, I think, because even if there is something else, I just can't think of it right now. But I said in the beginning, mu, su, tu, mas, sas, tus. These are possessive pronouns, but these are not the only things they can be. That is not the only thing they can be. The reason why I am actually stating this is that so that you don't get a false positive and get confused. Let's say that you're doing something to someone. That's the reason why I actually wrote εσένα, εμένα, αυτόν, and so on. Let's say I give something to someone. Δίνω is the verb to give. There is no infinitive, so that's the first person singular and so on. Δίνω το βιβλίο, just seeing how we used that before. I give the book. To who? Se, to this form. Αυτόν, εμά, εσάς, αυτούς. Σε, εσένα. I give the book to you, literally. Now, if you actually reflect on this as an English speaker, because no matter what your native language is, you're watching this video in English, this does somewhat sound wrong. You would say, I give you the book. I'll give you the book. You're not going to say, I'll give the book to you. It sounds a bit repetitive, if you will, a bit long and pointless, that kind of thing. This also applies in the same manner, like as before. You need not change the sentence in any way if the only thing you're going to change is who obtains possession of the item. So, σε εμένα, to me, to σε εσάς, to you, plural, and so on. The rest of the sentence can remain unchanged with nothing else to add. And same thing goes again. If you change the number or gender of the book, it doesn't matter. You can still keep the person that is receiving the item intact. It doesn't make any difference. Now, the way that you do that, in the same way that you do it in English, I give the book to you, and I give you the book. Now, I don't know if there is a specific way of explaining it in English, but I'll try my best in explaining it in Greek. Δίνω το βιβλίο σε εσένα, which would normally be clipped down to σε σένα, because it's σε εσένα, so you just omit one epsilon and add an apostrophe right there. The way you would say that in Greek is σου δίνω το βιβλίο. So, what I'm trying to get at is, I wrote a list down before. Μου, σου, του, της, μας, σας, τους. If you want to write this down in its proper form, if you will, because this is not wrong in any way. It's not technically wrong or anything like that, but it sounds wrong it's not just everyday speech. This is more appropriate for everyday matters, you substitute σε εσένα, σε εμένα, and so on, the previous list, εμένα, εσένα, αυτόν, also αυτήν, matter of gender again, εμάς, εσάς, αυτούς. You replace these with these exactly before the verb. That's the catch, pretty much. That's why these are also pronouns, but you do not need to look for someone. You do not need to find their role as possessive pronouns in a sentence necessarily. If this is positioned behind a verb, any verb, now give is merely an example. It can be κάνω, do, to do, right? It's pretty much the same thing, σου κάνω, which means κάνω σε εσένα, pretty much. Now, this might be somewhat wrongish. I don't know, it sounds really wrong. That's what you would say. That's what you would normally say. But this, let's say that in this case, it's not exactly, if it even is a possessive pronoun, it's something completely different. So, let's wipe the board clean again. Random examples with the words we used before. Typos, glastra, and βιβλίο. Το βιβλίο μας. Our book. Because μας is first person plural. And το βιβλίο σας. Your plural book. And so on. Το δικό, that's a tough for that matter. Το δικό σας βιβλίο. Also, your book. These are both legit forms. And σας δίνω το βιβλίο. I give you the book. And this is pretty much, you know, if you wanted to do it the other way, which sounds wrongish, it's like δίνω το βιβλίο σε εσάς, or s εσάς. And this is I give the book to you, for that matter. So this switcheroo, like this change of roles in mu, su, and so on in the possessive pronouns, is the main focus of the video, because actually creating possessive forms is not that hard. It's like το δικό μου, mine, το δικό σου, your, one thing, neuter, το ο δικός μου, and so on. Every sort of form like that, η δική μας, our, plural, η δική μας γλάστρα. You know, these need to match in gender and number. So, our flower pot. Hey, ο δικός μου κήπος. My garden. And these can both be written as ο κήπος μου, η γλάστρα μας. Now this is really bad handwriting, but I think you can make it out. So that's it for this video. I hope this has helped you to some extent. So, until next time.